Okay, hello, good morning. This question is given by Akshara. Yesterday, she texted via Class Dojo how to do this question. So I'm going to read out the question. The only items that Vignesh sold at his store were wallets and handbags. He sold each wallet for $22 and each handbag for $55. So Vignesh sold half of the items in his shop and collected $1,056. One third of the items sold were wallets. 1/8 of the items sold were handbags. So there are two parts. The first part, how many items were sold? The second part, how many handbags were there in the store at first? So usually what I like to do is I will take note of the important information. I know that each wallet is $22. So I will just take note of the important, be mindful about what is required or what are the information given. And each handbag is $55. So these are the things that I know. Then the other thing, I would have a lot of fractions in the questions, right? So I will just take a look because I did remind all of you to take note of what the question, for example, the fraction, which whole are they referring to? So when they say half of the items, that means it's all the items. But this part here, it says, is a little bit different. It says 1/3 of the items sold. So when I underline these two, the wholes that they are referring to, right, when we are talking about half of the items and 1/3 of the items sold, the whole is actually different, as the same as this, 1/3 of the items unsold. So when I have questions like that, maybe I will just like to, I don't have any information about how many wallets are there, nor do I know how many handbags are there. So what will I do is I will actually draw the model, a long bar to represent all the items. No ink, no ink. Okay, so I will draw this to represent all the items. So I'm going to split this into half, exactly into half, to indicate that, okay, this one is the part that is unsold, and I would have the other left part whereby it's sold. So I would have this phrase, 1/3 of the items sold were wallets. So I'm going to break this part. So I don't want to focus on the unsold part. I want to solve this part first, because part A is how many items were sold, right? So I'm going to cut this into 3 parts. So 3 parts here, I would have 1/3 of the items sold were wallets. So I'm going to label here wallets. W for wallets, and all this, and the remaining 2 units over here will be handbags. So now we know that if we use ratio in this question, right, which means to say that in my one set, I would have 1 wallet and 2 handbags. So in one set, if I draw it like this, I will have a wallet and 2 handbags in a group. So let me find out how much is this group. So I will have if I have 1 wallet, I should have 2 handbags. But I don't know what is the actual quantity yet. So I need to find the price for the very basic, which is 1 wallet and 2 handbags. So I will have wallet, $22, plus my handbag, one for $55. So I have 2 handbags. My total, when I add up, I will get $132. Which means to say that when I have this, one set of this is 132. But I also know from the question that he actually sold and collected $1,056. So I would want to use my total, the amount of the money that he collected from selling, divided by the value of one set. So I would have 132. So I will my total amount collected divided by the amount collected for one set. I want to find out how many sets are there. So I would have 8 sets. I will have 8 sets of this. I will have 8 sets times 8. Which means to say that when I ask, right, in one group, in one set, I would have 3 items. So I will have W, HB, HB, right? This is one set. This is one set. And in my one set, there are 3 items. So I know that when I divide, I have 8 sets. So my 8 sets, can see or not? Huh? Okay, I shift up. 8 sets equals to 8 times 3, which means to say that I actually sold, Vignesh actually sold 24 items. So I've already found out my part A. I know that Vignesh actually sold 24 items. Now I'm going to go to part B. Okay, now part B, I will still use the same model, but this model, right, is a little bit different. I already know that my sold, I have 24 items. Remember the question earlier, it mentioned that he sold half of the items, which means to say that the other half, which is the 24 items over here, is unsold. So now I need to focus on the information that is unsold. So I'm going to cover this. Part A is done, so I'm going to cover this. Now I'm going to go to part B. Okay, it says at the last sentence for this, right? It says 1/8 of the items unsold were handbags. So I'm going to break this into 8 parts, because when I say 1/8 of the items unsold, I will have to focus on just the part that is unsold. So I'm just going to break this up into 8 parts. So I know that this part over here, it will be the handbags that is unsold. I also will have the wallets that is unsold. But if I cover this, I will know for sure that I have a total of 8 units. 8 units equals to 24. So I would have 1 unit. I need to do my equation out. 24 divided by 8, I will get 3. Which means to say that actually in all these boxes, there are 3 items in each. But the question is asking how many handbags were there in the store at first. Now I've gotten this part for handbags. But these handbags, I will still need to find, because earlier on, I only found the total items. I have not found the individual parts yet. So what I need to do is, if I look at this part here, my handbag, I've already gotten 3. But if I cover this part and I look at the sold portion, I would have 3 units equals to 24. 1 unit equals to 24 divided by 3. I know that I would have 8 here and 8 here. So my last part is to find out how many handbags were there in the store at first. I will need to use 8 plus 8 plus 3. I will be getting 8, 16. I will be getting 19. So I would have 19 handbags in total at first. Alright, so I hope this helped. If you are watching this, right, keep the questions coming. I will be back in school after Hari Raya, but keep the questions coming. If you have any questions at home that you are unsure, you let me know. I will do a video like this, and then I'll post this up on the YouTube channel. Alright, so I hope to see all of you soon. Thanks Ashara for the question. Bye everybody.